The blizzard had been raging for 3 cycles now, and the colony's environmental shields were failing. Cub Relkin pressed his small furred face against the reinforced viewport, his breath fogging the glass as he watched the white chaos outside. The other Kashari younglings huddled behind him, their tails wrapped around each other for comfort, but Relkin refused to move from his post. "She come back," he whispered, more to himself than to the others. The adults had given up hope 12 hours ago. Commander Thrace had declared Arya Voss lost to the storm, another human casualty in their foolish war against nature itself. But Relkin knew better. Humans didn't surrender to storms. They didn't surrender to anything. Arya Voss had been assigned to Outpost Kesh 7 6 months prior, the only human among a colony of 300 Kashari refugees. When she first arrived, the feline-like aliens had regarded her with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. Humans were known throughout the galaxy as the species that did everything the hard way, refusing cybernetic enhancements that other races embraced, insisting on manual labor when automation existed, and somehow surviving in conditions that would kill most sentient beings. The Kashari were a gentle people, evolved from plains hunters on a temperate world. They valued comfort, efficiency, and above all, safety. When their homeworld fell to the Vex swarm, they fled to this iceball on the edge of charted space, hoping its harsh climate would deter pursuit. It had, but it also threatened to kill them slowly. Arya had arrived as part of the Terran Relief Corps, one of humanity's endless charitable endeavors that baffled most species. She didn't come with advanced technology or miracle solutions. She came with a toolkit, a thermal suit, and an unshakable determination that the Kashari found both admirable and insane. "You can't fix the thermal regulators manually," Commander Thrace had told her during that first week. "The access point is 15 kilometers away, through terrain that reaches minus 70 degrees. Our drones can't function in those conditions, and our people certainly can't survive them." Arya had smiled that peculiar human smile, the one that suggested she'd heard the word camp before and found it quaint. "Then I guess it's lucky I'm here." Relkin had been assigned as her shadow, a role given to cubs to teach them about other species. He'd expected to be bored, watching the human fail and request rescue. Instead, he'd watched her succeed in ways that defied everything he understood about biological limitations. She worked 18-hour days reinforcing structures, repairing systems, and teaching the Kashari techniques that didn't rely on technology. She showed them how to insulate buildings using local materials, how to store heat efficiently, and how to ration supplies through long winters. But more than that, she showed them something the Kashari had lost: resilience. "Why do you do this?" Relkin had asked one evening as they shared a meal-synthesized protein for him, something horrifyingly spicy for her. "Do what?" "Push yourself. You're always tired, your hands are scarred. You could request transfer to an easier posting." Arya had laughed, a sound like crackling fire. "Relkin, humanity didn't get to the stars because we took easy postings. We got there because when something needs doing, we do it. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. But why?" She'd looked at him with those strange forward-facing eyes, predator's eyes, like his people had, but filled with something the Kashari had forgotten. "Because someone has to, and if not me, then who?" When the primary heat exchanger failed 3 days ago, everyone knew what it meant. Without it, the colony would freeze within a week. The only replacement part was at Supply Cache Delta, accessible only through the mountain pass that was now choked with the worst blizzard in recorded planetary history. Commander Thrace had begun drafting evacuation requests. They would abandon the outpost, scatter to other colonies, become refugees again. It was the reasonable choice. The safe choice. Arya had volunteered immediately. "Absolutely not," Thrace had said. "It's a death sentence. It's a 15-kilometer hike. I've done worse. In a Category 5 blizzard? With visibility at 0? Voss, even humans have limits." Arya had already been checking her thermal suit, adjusting the seals, loading supplies into her pack. "Maybe, but I haven't found mine yet." Relkin had followed her to the airlock, his small voice breaking. "Don't go, please. We can find another way." She'd knelt down, putting them eye to eye. "Relkin, you know what I learned in survival training? It's not the strongest who survive. It's not the smartest. It's the ones who refuse to quit. Your people are survivors, you just forgot for a little while. I'm going to remind you. What if you don't come back? Then you remember this: humans keep their promises, even when it costs everything." That had been 30 hours ago. The storm showed no signs of stopping. The temperature in the colony had dropped 15 degrees. The cubs had been gathered in the central hall for warmth, but Relkin had slipped away, back to his post at the viewport. "She's not coming," one of the other younglings said softly. "The storm is too strong." "Even for a human," Relkin's tail lashed in defiance. "You don't know humans. They don't stop." Hours crawled by. The adults began moving equipment, preparing for evacuation. Commander Thrace approached the viewport, his expression grave. "Relkin, it's time. We need to—" There! Through the whiteout, a shape emerged. Hunched, moving like a glacier, slow, inevitable, unstoppable. The figure was covered in ice, each step a visible effort, but still advancing. Still coming home. Arya Voss collapsed at the airlock door, the heat exchanger component clutched in her frozen arms. They pulled her inside, her suit's heating system long since drained, her lips blue, her hands locked in a death grip around the precious cargo. The medical team swarmed her, but she fought them off long enough to look at Relkin. "Told you," she managed through chattering teeth. "Humans keep their promises." The component was installed within the hour. Heat flooded back through the colony. And as feeling returned to Arya's frost-damaged extremities, she found herself surrounded by Kashari cubs. Relkin at the front, their tails wrapped around her in a protective cocoon. "We understand now," the cubs said quietly. "Humans don't survive because you're stronger. You survive because you don't know how to give up." Arya smiled, her human stubbornness warming the room more than any heat exchanger ever could. "Now you're getting it, kid. Welcome to the reason we're still around." Outside, the storm raged on. Inside, the colony lived. And somewhere in the space between those two truths, the Kashari remembered what it meant to be survivors. Because a human had shown them the way home.